Recording?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. This is the first video of the YouTube channel of
Feel honored.
everything discussion based.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the? Actually, no, you didn't see the name of my YouTube channel. It's Plan-It Talk. Wait, remember that? Didn't Lindsay come up with that?
Talk? No, I don't remember that.
I think I remember either Lindsay or Ashley coming up with it when we were sitting in the lounge, and I was like, "That's it."
Plan-It Talk.
So that's what my YouTube channel is called so far. We're probably gonna change it. Okay, Rahul, who are you?
Like you said, I'm Rahul Habar, Rutgers student, rising junior.
Nice.
Comp sci major.
And I'm also a rising junior at Rutgers, marine science major.
Every issue, okay, not every, but almost all issues cannot be answered with a yes or no. There's always gray area for how to get it done, what the proper solution could be in the middle to like the most like civil answer. But they kept saying yes or no, and he said no, I'm not getting rid of the police.
Oh.
And then they said vote him out. His election was up. His election was next week, with the week after, which is like, come on, like there was at least 100 people surrounding him too, yelling at him. It's just like, holy crap, that's just not how you get anything done. Because come on, if a politician's job was yes or no, then it will be so much smoother to get things done. The whole part is the gray area and finding the middle ground amongst everyone's side and what they want. Because there's different answers. There is Camden's situation where get rid of the police, allocate funds properly, and then retrain them in what means of de-escalation and social training. That works. But just saying abolish without saying what, it's so difficult.
Well, okay. So did you see on my Instagram story? Actually, I posted about it. I said something about abolishing the police. Did you see it? Oh wait, do you follow me?
I think I check Instagram. Come on.
Wait, it's a good source of information right now. At least every story that I watch, it has something about Black Lives Matter and like some sort of then I repost it or something. But it was something about abolish the police. And anyway, so I was talking with Molly about it like a day before I posted that. I was like, do people really think that? Like abolish the police? And then we're going through it, and it's like, I don't know. My ear has not been on the ground floor of police brutality at all. And if they're calling for some sort of urgency, and they have had their ears to the ground, people in this movement, and they are calling for this, then saying, well, maybe it's right just to push that thought, at least have it presented and say, look at this, abolish the police, and then kind of keeping it fresh in people's minds, and then. Okay, well, my point is I think you're saying what the Black Lives Matter, or even though it hasn't been in order for that long, has been saying forever, except it hasn't worked. They're saying, yeah, reform the police. It sounds like a great idea, but we've tried it, and that's why I started it. I didn't read much, but it's called the MPD 150. It's about the Minneapolis Police Department, and it's going over 150 years of history. And they're like, look at all the things that they try to do for reform, and none of it worked. And we don't trust that. We'd rather just have no cops because we don't trust that it's going to happen because we've waited 150 years. Or I get seriously waited because they've actually started to make changes more recently. But I think there has to be some sort of trust.
No, I can understand. Like for them, like you're right. If they just said reform the police, it wouldn't have the same emotional impact on people. Well, that's for sure.
Emotional impact. I mean, legitimately, what it is.
I know, but you need like emotion in this essence to like push people to do it quicker because it's not impacting their lives, so they won't really get behind it as much. For the people, for people like me, and like, it's never really impacted me that much, right? Because like, live in a suburb, sheltered all my life, like, so it's like not as big of an impact on people like us. But
so
when you say like abolish the police, like the people on the right who are already like potentially they're half on your side, half like, oh, is this really happening? Are you exaggerating what's happening? Because they've never seen it themselves. They're like, oh my God, how can you say abolish the police? Like they're going to take it literally, which is why on Twitter, it's literally like a battleground right now. Obviously Twitter only has like, it's not representative of the whole population, but these people might be voting And the fact that like they're like outraged by like abolish the police. They're like, oh, you're gonna be grateful. You're gonna be grateful for the police when you get raped and you need someone to help protect you. So they're like they take it way too literally. And it's also because the very minority, a small minority on the left on Twitter is going like, yeah, we want to get rid of the police. We want like community-led enforcement everywhere. It's like they're like you said, they're not representative of the entire Black Lives Matter movement, that's for sure. But they're so vocal on social media and all these outlets. The young people are just like,
and even
like Tucker Carlson, even he's like spitting this dumb rhetoric.
But wait, even the people that are saying abolish the police, like I think it's less than just a little tiny bit of people that are saying abolish the police. I think it is kind of representative of
pretty scary.
No. Well, yeah, I think it's somewhat representative, but I think we are assuming what abolish the police means when it doesn't mean what we think it means, when it's cut right now.
But it's also because there's no uniform idea of it. Every single like area applies a different definition of what they want to do with the funds.
Yeah.
Like because no, like we should be doing like we're sending police. Like Yang had a perfect tweet about this that's been talked about for like decades. We send police to handle mental illness incidences, like to handle traffic situations, to handle like domestic domestic disputes, everything. We're calling police to do all of this. And I know it's like a mainstream argument now, luckily. But thank God that's like actually like in everyone's mind that we're like overutilizing the police. We should not be asking them to do any of this, to be honest. Like they should be dealing with a very small percentage of these cases that need force.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be having a gun in all these situations. It's just like, and like there's so much like training for them to be like preemptive. Because again, like you said, like they are risking their lives. Well, they were ranked the 16th most dangerous job in America, which was surprising. Like they're behind construction, behind like a bunch of other mainstream jobs.
Yeah.
So like it definitely is like over.
That's a different danger though. That's a different danger where it's you versus someone versus you versus an accident. That's a different.
No, definitely. It just shows that like you are like they act like you're very likely to die on the job at any time. But like
you're willing to. It is like a commitment that you make.
Yeah.
Like so say I don't know what the stats are. I don't know what the stats are in Afghanistan. But I mean, still, like right now, there's not a lot of people dying in Afghanistan, but there's probably a lot of people dying from random shit here, just on their dangerous working conditions type jobs. And it's like you go in there. It is a psychological thing. Like I'm going in there. I know it's in the job description that I may encounter someone that will try to kill me. So it's psychological, and that's significant. That it's not like something might fall on my head. Oh, I'll look up. It's like no, there's someone that have a gun pointed at me, and there's a few situations out of there instead of just taking a glance.
Yeah, I guess the point of you are right in that case. I guess the point of bringing up 16, like that 16th, should be used not to say that it's not a dangerous job, but to say that like there are like very minimal cases where your life is truly at risk, and then they just take that and say like you always have to be on edge, and always look for patterns of like where you might get hurt instead of looking at patterns of like if the person's autistic or if the person's mentally ill and he's acting a certain way because of that. They'll just see a threat, which is their job to at the end of the day. Like they're trained to do that.
It's not plain and simple their job to. They're supposed to see a rounded view, right?
Yeah, they're not trained to, rather. Yeah, they're not trained to.
Yeah.
Because like, oh my God.
Well, so
which is like scary.
So like we talked about earlier, the New Brunswick Police Department, how like they got $20 million in funding, which is by far the thing that's funded most by their budget in the town. And 17 million of that is for just officers, just for their bodies doing things which are valuable or maybe don't need to be the officers. But I'm trying to think of specific cases where you don't need an officer. Let's break it down. So like traffic stops. Let's say you do need people on the road making sure they're not being dangerous. They're not drunk driving. They're not texting and driving. Traffic stops so if you still assume that, so let's think about why someone would turn violent at a traffic stop. So if they have something in their car, you see it, and then they're like, they saw it, they're going to, and that is incriminating, they need to die. They brought someone out here with a nice little bright hat, and it's like, you can't be speeding. I want to give you a nice little ticket. But they're like, nope, now I've got to kill this person, and now they don't have a weapon. And putting people in, like, who's going to want to do the jobs that a cop would do that could be dangerous, which oftentimes they're not, but they still could be. 911 calls, do you just need paramedics, or if someone's overdosing and there's people hopped up on some sort of drug there that can be violent and dangerous, do you just want the paramedics to say, yeah, I'm cool with just going in there. The situation's going to be fine. I'm not going to have my life at risk.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like,
yeah, no, it's kind of problem. It's like you have to be careful of the edge cases. Like you have to be prepared to handle edge cases in case they do present themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's I guess that's why police reform hasn't happened. It's very difficult, and in their minds, in the police union's eyes, they're not going to get any advantage from doing that in their eyes. It doesn't help police. So I don't know, honestly.
One job I think I could see is like today I had to go through a detour because there was police just blocking off a road for construction. Mm-hmm. I think that might be a place where it's like, okay, maybe get some lights. I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't need a cop to do that. But then if they happen to see someone like make a rugged turn or something, like, oh shit, that guy looks dangerous. Go after him. And now you have a cop on civilian interaction, which you didn't need to have.
No, exactly.
And maybe less less patrolling in general. Because cops I was reading this article talking about how they're the plug on revenue gaps for the town, or if they need to make extra money to be able to fill certain appropriations that they need to make money through tickets. And so if you really see that they're doing it for extra revenue, and that we can tell them, if you're doing it for extra revenue, the byproduct is that's more cop on civilian interaction, and that's more chance of death. And you're putting more chance of death for plugging in your funding gaps, which then that's all reason to say cut back.
Yeah, I know that's just it's just so fucked up. It also has to do with like the amount of training. Like they have to go through 6 months academy, I think it is, just 6 months, and then you're tasked with protecting citizens with a gun and potentially using force. Like 6 months does not seem like enough training. Like because they should be going through sociology classes, psychology classes, potentially like I don't know what class you take for like child or senior care, but classes that have to do with like just being able to dissect the situation, understand if it needs force or not, because that's like the biggest part of their job at this point. Like, it has to be knowing exactly when to use force. And I guess the point is, like, right now with qualified immunity and like police unions, they feel protected to use force, so they're more likely to choose force. Like if they need to use force, they're more likely to use force, like no matter what, because they're protected. They know they won't have to fear retaliation.
Good word.
So, the fact that you're protected means that when you make a decision, you're not making a purely logical decision. You're banking on the fact that on one side you die, the other side you're fully protected. So you're always going to lean on the side of force if you're ever in question, which is dangerous in and of itself.
Also, so I don't think more training would necessarily make this guy. No, he's like, it wasn't him being like, oh, I thought I was handling the situation right. I don't think he thought he was handling it right. I think he wanted to. I think it was intentful that he killed George Floyd. At least.
Absolutely. That seemed without a doubt.
Right. Okay. So if you assume that, then any training that's going to say, here, this is how you handle a situation, he's going to throw out the door. That doesn't matter to him because he knows he's not doing good things.
Yeah.
Then when he said protected, that's a different thing. Knowing if he does this, he will not be protected.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like for UBI. Like the whole point of Yank's policy is like everything has to happen at once. Otherwise, it won't have the impact that he wants. So if you do get rid of qualified immunity, like if you do have reform, you need qualified immunity to get taken away, to get removed. You need that. Otherwise, like you said, it's just no point. And
qualifying immunity?
Yeah, qualified immunity.
Specific things that go into that, though.
Yeah, I do not know how to speak about that, but that's what every politician right now on the left is breaking up that has to be removed. But the biggest part is police unions are like so bad. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to have a police union.
Well, okay, any sense? Everybody.
Okay, not any sense. Right? They're using it in the wrong way. They're using it to protect the bad apples instead of protecting everyone. They're just saying like, it's like it's just, oh my God. Anytime you ever try to police reform, police unions are the roadblock that's hard to get past. Because police reform is not in the best interest of the majority of police officers. It just won't be. Because they'll have to go through more training, you have to spend more money to train them, They might get less officers because it's a higher level of education you need now. You might not want to get it, and then I don't know.
What power does the union have? Unions just have power of organizing and having collective say, but it's more of a persuasion kind of thing, right? It's not actual administrative power, right?
I gotta look into it because like
it's hard to block it.
It's no, because like I forget what the number was, but I think it was like out of 1,000 cops that were charged with, just charged with any crime, 400 or so of them were taken away after an appeal by the police unions, showing they do have a good amount of power.
Wait.
They're able to drop those charges.
Power different from administrative
influence.
Power.
Yeah. Well, maybe influence or power, but like, I don't know. I'm not sure. What I got, like you said, I got to look into that.
Yeah, everyone's target.
Yeah, it does. But no, also, it's actually crazy for I forget where this happened, but this one person was trying to become a police officer, and there's a test you have to take to determine like your IQ and whether or not you'll be a good officer or not. I forget what it's exactly for, but he scored a 33 when the average is between like 20 and 25, and they said that his score was too high, which is very interesting because like he sued the district for saying that they're discriminating against him.
Oh, do they think he was cheating?
No. They think he was too smart, like literally potentially too smart. Cop? Yeah, and then their fear is if you wouldn't they felt like wouldn't be satisfied with being like sitting in a car and waiting, and there'll be high turnaround if they allow people with a certain level of IQ. Way. That was the reason that they gave.
Yeah.
Not maybe unofficial reasoning, but they literally did not let him in because of his score, and he tried suing, but he lost because the court sided with the district.
Do you know how?
I'll send you the article. Yeah. No. I read it like literally last week, which was crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. And it makes sense, like, because think about it. At least for even colleges do this. One of the smartest kids in my school couldn't get into Michigan when like other kids dumber than him got into Cornell from our school, like got into Michigan themselves, because they probably thought this kid's not going to come here. Why hurt our yield percentage? Why hurt them out because that's like how they're ranked. Colleges care about that. That's how you get ranked by U.S. News and all these top.
No, but by someone says they're going to come and then they don't.
It's not about if they come and they don't. It's if they get accepted and they don't go to the school, that hurts the school. And there's probably what reason could they give to reject him and accept someone that's way dumber? There's no reason for that, like logically speaking. This kid was like one of our top graduates from our school. So yeah. Colleges care about that. So yeah.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. And then these police care about that too, because for them it's more economical because like they don't want a lot of people to join the force and then leave. But that also hurts in that like beat cops won't be as intelligent as you would want them to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the sergeant chiefs are the top, so that they could still be more intelligent than average. But for beat cops, not really. They have like an optimal IQ range they're looking for before they accept him. And this happens in other jobs too. Like I feel like my dad has told me stories where he's applied to jobs and he got rejected because he was overqualified, and they expected that he would take the job just for the short term and look for a better job to leave. And they're like, we're not going to waste time with that, so we're just going to reject you and like move on the search.
That's a whole new concept to me.
Yeah, no, it's really messed. It makes sense. There's so many times you're overqualified for a job. Like, I can never see that because, like, in their eyes, like they're being like, this guy shouldn't be working here. He should be somewhere else, and he probably knows that himself, or she knows that herself.
It does make some sort of sense. I just didn't think they'd actually do that.
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
Yeah, no, no. I remember reading about this from Michigan at least, because like U.S. News had like recently added yield percentage to their calculations of top schools, and colleges with the best yield rate were ranked higher. Because like for that makes perfect sense. Like if your school has a lot of acceptances but no one really wants to go there, that usually means you're not a prestigious school in their eyes. Yes. But yeah, it's dumb that those colleges and those like police academies use that.
They should just look at what kids do at the school, how well they are at doing what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you think about reparations? talking about the source.
Yeah, I'm against that completely. I'd rather have a UBI because also the biggest part of making it universal is that there's less animosity. For right now, the welfare, the people that aren't receiving welfare will be like, I'm paying for something that I'm not receiving ever, and I'm subsidizing somebody else and giving them the right to not work, not do X, Y, Z, whatever it is they give a reason for. They'll just automatically become it's us versus you, us versus them mentality. But reparations will I feel like not completely, but there's a good chance a lot of white people that were not from ex-slave, like didn't have a heritage of slave owners, will be like, why am I paying for this? Like, I'm just as bad off. That could be an idea that could create more animosity.
That's fair. But that's also an external thing. Let's just talk intrinsically. Should Black people get reparations? And the reason I asked that today is because I didn't even thought about it until today. Because my friend, I had something on my story that was like, one of the stats in New Jersey is X percentage of Black women, or this many times. All right, out of pregnant women, out of this many times, there's this many more Black women that have complications with their pregnancy or died during pregnancy, or their kid dies. Not during pregnancy.
12% higher
during birth, when they're being birthed.
Wow, this is not. I don't know what you're trying to say.
Okay. Anyway, the point is the point is they don't have access to good. They have access to less good healthcare, less good. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Less good healthcare. Okay, so
just cut that whole part out. Restart.
Yeah. So less good healthcare.
Black women have a much higher chance of dying during birth.
Then my friend was like, so are you saying that they? So I told him that I was like about the healthcare, and he's like, so then why don't they have as good healthcare? And I was like, whoa, okay, so let's go at it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just about, I said it's about money. It's about how they've been treated in America. And then I just started with that. I was like, okay, I don't think I've actually thought through this. So I just kept thinking. I was like, where do you get the odds of success from? A lot of it comes from what money your family already has. And that keeps seeding back. So your family, your parents, then your next parents, your next parents. You go 4 back and you're at slavery. And you go like 2 back and you're in the early 1900s. They're still actively, legislatively not allowed the same privileges, the same wealth opportunities just through jobs. And so 4 back slavery, like 2 back, maybe even 1 is back to just Black people not being able to get jobs. It makes a lot of sense that it's still a very close thing that'll affect Black people. And then I was like, okay, so that's one way of thinking about it. Or you could think, what's your alternative for justifying the stat that Black people have less good healthcare, that they don't have access to money because they're not as smart or because they're not as good at being successful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see those as alternatives, and that's bullshit.
No.
Especially because there's this much. I want to say data, but just it makes sense that they were held back. It wasn't too far.
Oh, absolutely. Like it was it is systemic. Absolutely. There was this policy in the 1970s or 80s. It was like the Federal Housing Act. I forget what exactly it was called. The Federal Authority on Housing, something along those lines. And it literally made it so that if you were not a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you would not have access to mortgage loans for suburban houses.
Yep.
So like the suburban houses called Levittowns back then were really they were just created for the first time to have people move out of the cities, and they were only open to white people at that point. They were open to Black people actually, but they couldn't get mortgages. What they would get was a policy where if they could not pay one mortgage, if they could not pay for 1 month, kicked out. They're evicted immediately. They missed one payment. And what they would do, they'll tell the white families that a Black person was moving in next door, so the realtor would buy that house on a discount and then mark it up by 2-3x and then sell it to a Black family. So there's no way they would be able to pay for that because they had no familial wealth. They had no transformative assets that were coming down, like you said, from inheritance. They had none of that. Yeah. So they had to move to apartments where they were not building any wealth versus a white family that was paying off their house. And after they paid it off, they could save up for education for their kids, put in the stock market. Like the bottom 50% of our of today's society is not involved in the stock market. The bottom 50%. And that's because they cannot save money enough to do that. They had to pay for food, rent, like current expenses. They could not plan for the future.
Yeah.
And then like it's like the worst argument I've ever heard is saying like It's their fault for not saving. It's their fault for not having like wealth. It's like the average black wealth was in the negatives for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Even now, potentially after mass unemployment, this could get dipped down in negatives, and that's not their fault because white families and Asian families now are starting off with such a big head start. It's just such an individualistic argument that I hear smart people saying all the time. They're like, my family immigrated here with nothing, and they made it. It's like, first of all, the only people that immigrated here were the very, very smart people from that country. It's not like everyone from India came here. It was the cream of the cream. It was the top people that came here. So of course they're gonna make it, because that's like looking at the smartest people in America. Are they poor? It's like, dude, so you can't look at it as the average. Like, it's not like the average Indian person moved here. It was someone that had a bachelor's, that was already getting a master's, that was already sponsored to come here. They already had a job lined up to come here. So get out of that argument. They're not, and they're not in the same shoes as the black people here.
And even so, it's about the odds of success. So even if you can't make an individual case and say, look, they did it. They shouldn't have had, even if that was true. Like, look at someone who grew up in Harlem or something. They made it. That is nothing in comparison. Like, to say that there's nothing wrong. Even though it doesn't mean they didn't have chains on them. And you shouldn't have chains on them.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody used the example of Chris Gardner, like the guy from Pursuit of Happiness, going like, he made it. Why can't the rest of them do it? It's like,
what would you do?
It was like an actual genius. Like, what the hell? What do you mean? It's like you can't use those people to justify that. Like, oh, I don't need to help. But getting back to reparations, I want to say, I want to say no, but I can't. I'm not coming with any reason why. I just feel like UBI solves those issues and more. So why would you not want to do that instead? But I know what you're saying. You're saying like right now, if there's no UBI on the table, what would you do for reparations? I guess it's hard for me to
Is it just? Is it a just thing to do to say you should get it? Everyone, on average at least, black people should get that. Yeah. Which I used to say no, I think.
Yeah. It's hard to get the UBI bias out of me, but yeah, I guess like if you were to do that, I guess I would say yes, they should have reparations. But yes, I do understand it. But I can say affirmatively that it's not the best option now.
So okay, wait. All right. So now, okay, good.
Because wait, it doesn't help Latino families either, and they're in the same shoes. They're in the same position as black families. It doesn't help Hispanics. Reparations.
Right.
So you're leaving them out completely. It's like they're also racially profiled. They're also they don't have wealth. So it's like, again, it just makes it like black. It makes it black versus everyone else. And it says we'll look at them more as the enemy. We're gonna look. Oh, you need our help to get out of the situation, don't you? It will turn into that like. But again, it's extrinsic, but I do feel like it will happen naturally. More tension will arise. Because think if you're a poor white family and you're like, I'm paying taxes that are going to reparations, it's just like, what the hell is like, what's that about? So like, I need help too, but I'm paying for them. And maybe it'll be government sponsored through a new tax, like maybe a value-added tax, but again, better used for UBI.
It doesn't. So okay, you're saying it's like black versus others if you just give them to black people. But also, it is I mean, I guess you mentioned Latinos and just any minority that might be negatively affected that wouldn't get that. If you give everybody $1,000, it doesn't address. It's not a sorry from America. It's not like you deserve to get more money than this other person because we held you back. It equates people. It's almost like the All Lives Matter version of financial stimulus. It's like, no, black lives do because it needs to be addressed now in a specific way. Give them 1,200.
Just give them a little extra.
That is missing something, I think.
I do see your kind of like the All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter argument. I can see that where you got it from. I guess like personally, it's just like I'm literally thinking about which ones would be easier to pass and sustain going forward. And I guess when do you end the reparations? When do you finally say we've said sorry enough? We're good now. We're good, bro. Like we're even.
Yeah,
forget about it. Come on.
They're like, oh, you did enough. You did enough for us.
Like you think slavery? You think you've made up for slavery? Come on now, like 400 years. Now we're done. It's
nothing's really enough, but then
slippery slope. Yeah, and then once they get used to it, it's like it's like if you give UBI to people, then you stop. It's just like whoa, that's like a huge like it's a huge wall to hit because you're just like you planned for it, you planned to have it, you assumed you'd always have it. Just to get it yanked from you, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you watch Yang Speaks like with Mark Cuban?
Yang Speaks.
Yeah, Yang's
Is that
podcast.
on YouTube or something? Oh wait, that's a
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah, it's on. Yeah. Oh my God, it's like
Yang Speaks the podcast.
Like there's like 10 videos up. Yeah, yeah, Yang's podcast.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, no, they talk about UBI for like 10 minutes or so. Mark is like not. It's like he's against it. He used to be against it. Now he's like coming around to different like caretaker basic income, whereas like I guess I'm not sure if teachers are included, but it's just like child and senior care workers are gonna be given $1,000 a month. And his main argument against UBI was productivity, which for Yang, you can tell for Yang, it was just like he didn't want to go down the argument of we should not be valuing productivity, we should be valuing humanity because it's a humanity forward. Like if people want to stop working to pursue their hobbies, pursue volunteering, pursue whatever they want to, they have the right to do that. But like Mark Cuban is more like thinking that like people might. His argument is also fair in that it might hurt small businesses because if you're getting paid $1,000 a month, they can't really compete with that. But the argument would go like it's not about competing with them. It's like it's on top. It stacks. It's not like an unemployment benefit or welfare where it goes away. It's not like you'll be like, oh, I'm not getting as much as UBI. I'm not going to do it. It might not work like that.
Well, yeah, it's not a replacement. It's not a replacement, right? $12,000 a year. That's not.
I hate the argument that like people will stop working because who is satisfied with $12,000 a year? Mm-hmm. I love when someone's like, "You're not satisfied with $4 billion. You're still working." Like, you think 12,000 is gonna be enough for these guys? It's like, it's obviously not. Like, you can't use it as a full argument, but it shows the people that like you can't assume that they're gonna be like, "Oh, 12,000, I'm good now. I can stop." The whole point is that like they'll get out of their situation that they're currently in, and they'll be thinking about their kids more so they can plan for the future.
At least on average.
Yeah, of course. There will be examples where people are like, you know what, I want to take a break. I'm going to stop. Maybe that's good for their mental health. Maybe they shouldn't be working 24/7 at terrible jobs. It could be like
humanity.
Exactly. Humanity first. Because based on like, the interview we did before, you would assume that I would be on Mark's side. Honestly, we need people to be working towards the goal. You also got to realize that like if people are like really sick of the jobs they're working, you shouldn't be forcing them to do that.
Wait, because of productivity? Because they won't be as productive, or because you shouldn't?
You just shouldn't. It just seems morally wrong. Yeah. No. It's more. It's because the current jobs aren't working towards any goal. They'll still be working for like a McDonald's corporation or any corporation that's like terrible for humanity. They'll be working for. So it's not like them stepping away from that. It's still a good thing for humanity. But it's more like if it was like, say for example, it was like the guy that was like working at Tesla or working at SpaceX, they're like, I'm going to take a step back. Then, I'd be like, holy crap, no, that should not be happening.
Yeah.
Like, they still need to have like people. Well, of course, that's not equatable because they're making $100K plus. So that would never happen. But in this situation, the jobs that these people are working, on average, will not be beneficial for humanity. They're just like for convenience or for moving like a huge corporation forward.
Your beneficial for humanity is just progress, not progress in just any sense. It's technology and knowledge.
Technology and like, because technology helps everything almost. Like, it can help climate change, it can help infrastructure, it can help. What?
So does hamburgers, right? Like, what do you mean by help anything? Because I see it as you take it almost like a game. Like, let's see some cool shit.
Yeah, I guess like with Alcor now, like the ability to potentially live forever, almost not forever, but live into the future, the need is definitely decreased since I know that doesn't have to happen within my lifetime for me to live through it. If their cryo freezing does work, I'm 100% cryo freezing myself. 80 to 200K, 100%. I'll put that money to the side and pay that as soon as I have that money. I'll pay for it. Absolutely. My whole family too. All four of us is like guaranteed.
To the future.
Dude, absolutely. It's just gotta make sure your brain doesn't get messed up. So you can't die in like a fire or like Alzheimer's or dementia. You can't die through that. That's also an interesting thing. Like, would you do this, or would you just want to be dead when you die?
I'd rather just have the last few moments of life I could have.
Wait, what was that? Wait, what? What this is when you die. This is like whenever you die, like
Oh, when
you already
you
said
die.
this. Yeah. No, it's not like you like call them like boom, just get me there. It's
Oh,
like they plan. It's like you put your down payment. They'll put a storage unit in place, and then when you die, your relatives like they'll get alerted,
yeah,
or
yeah.
you do your hospital, and it's like so yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I
not
was
really
thinking, so
sure.
would you do that if you had the money, just like on hand?
Maybe the money can go to better use after
Oh,
your current morals. Maybe I'll just donate all that shit. I'm not really sure.
oh yeah, God no! I want to see live into the future, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. As soon as Judon gets sold, the first amount of money is going into that. Guaranteed.
Okay. All right, I gotta go.
You gotta go.
Yeah. Did you see I started recording it?
Yeah, I saw that.
I
It was like, yeah.
was trying to be slick.
No, it was you might have had me for like 5 minutes. Because then I started looking around, I was like, oh, recording. Oh, nice. Like, you didn't bring it up. I was like, all right, I like that. Just kept it authentic as much as possible.
Yeah, I'll probably just post that whatever we just talked about. I just want to get videos posted just so I can
Yeah.
moving and then like just know what to tweak, what things to
Mhm.
actually do, what works.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh god. I mean, yeah, you can post it and then like later on have a video where you analyze, like, you know what? I shouldn't have said that, or
Yeah,
like
it's never gone.
it
It's
still
never
works. It
like the
still
end of
works.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.